Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sego ani buju wacheya kwekwe. As the mayor of the city of Kingston, I offer these words in the spirit of this gathering. Let us bring our good minds and hearts together as one to honor and celebrate these traditional lands as a gathering place of the original peoples and their ancestors who were entrusted to care for Mother Earth since time immemorial. It is with deep humility that we acknowledge and offer our gratitude for their contributions to this community, having respect for all as we share this space now and walk side by side into the future. Okay, we were just meeting in Committee of the Whole closed meeting. We discussed a couple of items. One was 671 Brock Street, and the other was respect to the Confederation Place Hotel. So with that, I will ask for a motion to waive our bylaw and have the clerk report, please.
Moved by Councillor Schell, seconded by Councillor George, that Council rise from the Committee of the Whole closed meeting, that the rules of Bylaw 2010-1 be waived, and that the City Clerk report.
Please vote. And that carries.
Moved by Councillor George, seconded by Councillor Hutchison, that Council approve the sale of the private market housing block at the southwest corner of 671 Brock Street, legally described as lots 88, 89, and part of lots 90 and 87, registered plan 171, designated as parts 1 and 2 on 13R 21604 to 333 University Avenue Limited and University Suites North Limited jointly for the sale price of $500,000 in a form satisfactory to the Director of Legal Services, and that Council accept the conveyance of the private market housing block at 671 Brock Street as parkland contribution for the development projects at 333 University Avenue and 495 Princess Street, it being acknowledged that the value of the private market block is $500,000 and the value of the required parkland contribution is $420,000. And that Council approve a gifting agreement with 333 University Avenue Limited and University Suites North Limited jointly for $80,000 in consideration of the difference between the value of the private market block and the value of the required parkland contribution, and that the Mayor and Clerk be authorized to execute agreements and other documents as may be required to carry out the above recommendations in form satisfactory to the Director of Legal Services, and that the proceeds from the sale of the private market block be directed to complete the reimbursement of the funds that were drawn from the Municipal Capital Reserve Fund for the original purchase of 671 Brock Street, with the remainder of the revenue directed to reimburse the Natural Land Parkland Reserve Fund, and the report number 18-013 be released to the public.
Okay, you will call the vote, please. And that carries. Next, we'll move to approval. Oh, my mistake. Sorry.
Moved by Councillor Boehm, seconded by Councillor Turner, that Council authorize the Mayor and Clerk to execute a land lease extension and the amendment agreement and other documents as may be required with 1206953 Ontario Inc. for the city's property located at 5 Brock Street, a portion of the Confederation Place Hotel site, for the net rent of $40,000 starting on May 1st, 2018, with a subsequent increase of 2% annually until 2027, and a 20-year extension period commencing January 4th, 2027, for rent to be negotiated with the option to extend for a further term of 10 years and other terms and conditions as outlined in Report 18-021 in a form satisfactory to the Director of Legal Services.
We'll call the vote. And that carries. Okay, moving on to approval of the addeds. With the consent of Council, the request has been to withdraw the delegations. So it asks that we approve the addeds with only report number 1 from the CAO, and then there are a couple of items of miscellaneous business and some communications. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Neal, seconded by Councillor Osanek. Please vote. And that carries. Are there any disclosures of potential pecuniary interest? Councillor McLaren.
Thank you. I, Jeff McLaren of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Kingston, declare my pecuniary interest in the matter of Clause 1, Report 02, due to the nearby ownership of property.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay. Okay, so moving on, we do have a presentation this evening. It's a very exciting one for me. I'm very pleased to present tonight officially the Mayor's Arts Awards for 2017. Deputy Mayor Neal, Councillor Schell joined me last evening for a gala presentation in Memorial Hall, but now we're going to do it officially so that the award winners can be read into the City Council minutes. The Mayor's Arts Awards are an annual recognition program that celebrates artistic achievement and recognizes extraordinary contributions in and to the arts. By increasing the profile and appreciation of the arts, the awards enhance the cultural vitality and civic identity of Kingston. Through this program, the city affirms the value of the arts in city life and nurtures and inspires sustained development of the cultural sector to the benefit of all its citizens. The city administered the Mayor's Arts Awards program and worked in collaboration with the Kingston Arts Council, who led the documentation and promotion of the award recipients. So the first category of the awards are the Creator Awards. The Creator Award recognizes living artists, artistic collectives, or arts organizations. 3 Creator Awards will be given each year to honor artistic merit and or innovation that advances the arts in the city, contributes to the development of the art form, and expresses the cultural vitality of Kingston. The first Creator Award recipient is Armand Garnett Ruffo. Ruffo is an Anishinaabe Ojibwe scholar, filmmaker, writer, and poet. He is the Queen's National Scholar in Indigenous Literature and teaches creative writing, supporting and inspiring generations of new writers in the development of their craft. His writing and his filmmaking are both award-winning. Armand has published 5 books, poetry and prose, 3 plays, and has written, directed, and produced a short film and a feature film. His monograph on the Indigenous painter Norval Morrisseau is a seminal achievement. Armand's subtle and personal poetry collection, The Thunderbird Poems, inspired by Morrisseau's work, embodies multidisciplinary and research creation. The recognition that Armand's work has received and his ongoing support of other artists and the literary community inspire other creators, particularly Indigenous artists. Congratulations, Armand. The second Creator Award recipient is Sue Sheedy. Sheedy began painting in 2001 and has marshaled her fascination with surface effects and her assured color sense into a substantial art practice, exhibiting in Kingston, Toronto, Prince Edward County, Ottawa, and Montreal, and has been active with the organization of Kingston Women Artists, Kingston Arts Council, and notably in activist work with Lake Ontario Waterkeepers. The heavily worked, light-filled surfaces of her art evoke natural processes, often expressing Sue's passion for natural waterways and wetlands. The artistic merit of her work is matched by her generous leadership, inspiring visual, media, and audio artists to mobilize for conservation of and public access to Kingston's waterfront in the high-impact Shoreline Shuffle of 2013 Public Art and Action event, and through subsequent exhibitions and actions at the Pump House Steam Museum and the TED Center. Congratulations, Sue. The third Creator Award recipient is Matt Rogalski. Matt Rogalski has specialized as a media artist in electronic and electroacoustic music for the past dozen years. He has composed, created, and performed locally and across North America and Europe. A founding member of the Gertrudes, he is also the force behind the successful Tone Deaf Festival of Experimental Sound and numerous smaller performance series such as Musical Chairs, and is a key member of the board of the Skelton Park Arts Festival. Talented and widely respected, Matt provides his technical and artistic expertise and encouragement to an enormous range of art activities in Kingston, spanning visual and performance art, storytelling, classical to experimental music, film, and theater. Congratulations, Matt. The next category of award is the Arts Champion Award. And this year, the Arts Champion Award recipient is Jessica Rivera Belsham. Belsham is a multidisciplinary artist with a deep passion for culture, the arts, community spirit, humanitarian work, holistic care and wellness, dance, drumming, and singing. An alumni of OCAD University, formerly the Ontario College Art and Design, Jessica widely shares and engages people in her passion for her own Mexican heritage. Working in the intersection of painting, drawing, sculpture, jewelry design, sewing, drumming, and singing, Jessica facilitates inclusive, holistic performance workshops and culture events throughout the Kingston community. Jessica has been a drummer and dancer in countries around the world. She has a background in healthcare and creative arts, rooted in her healing arts practice, which she utilizes in the programs of Circle of Wellness, which she founded, and which offers inclusive intergenerational cultural artistic opportunities, such as Kingston Drum Circle, Rhythm Momentum, the annual Dia de los Muertos Kingston Festival, and Quetzalcoatl, a celebration of the arts of Mexico. Unfortunately, Jessica was unable to be here with us tonight, but she was here for the gala event last night. The last category of the award is the Limestone Arts Legacy Award. The Limestone Arts Legacy Award recognizes individuals from the past whose sustained and substantial contributions have built the artistic vitality of the city, nurturing and enabling forms of creation, participation, presentation, and enjoyment, whose leadership has inspired others and whose influence has been felt in the region and beyond. This year's recipient of the Limestone Arts Legacy Award is David Kemp. David was an accomplished playwright, theater artist, and educator who advocated for theater education for all ages. He brought arts to the people and people to the arts. David was the artistic director of the Frontenac Children's Teachers Theater Company, which performed children's theater at local schools. In co-founding the Artists in Community Education program, which provides practicing artists with the teaching tools they needed to pursue classroom, community outreach, and arts leadership careers, he has inspired successive generations of youth while integrating artistic practices in all disciplines with community life, making Kingston a leading center for arts education. Unfortunately, David passed away earlier this year, and so his wife, Susan, is here to accept the award on his behalf. Okay, and thank you again and congratulations to all the recipients of this year's Mayor's Arts Awards. At this point, we will continue on with our agenda. We have no delegations this evening. We have no briefings. Are there any petitions to present? Councillor Turner.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Patterson. Through you, I rise this evening to present a petition on behalf of the residents of Reddendale who are in the council chambers this evening. There's a lot of them here tonight who braved the weather to come. Anyway, the petition reads, in consideration of significant infill development pressure in Reddendale, the Neighborhood Association for Context-Sensitive Development in Reddendale NACSDR, and the undersigned hereby petition the City of Kingston to revise the terms of reference for Central Kingston Growth and Infill Strategy to include Redendale. There are 74 signatures. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other petitions to present? Okay, seeing on, we will move on. We have no motions of congratulations, recognition, sympathy, condolences, or speedy recovery. We have no deferred motions. So we will move to reports. For those that are here tonight for the presentation of the Arts Awards, of course, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the council meeting, but you're also more than welcome to excuse yourselves. Thank you. Okay, so with that, I will ask for report number 1 from the CAO.
Moved by Councillor Osterhoff, seconded by Councillor Osanek, that report number 1 from the Chief Administrative Officer, consent, be received and adopted.
So clause 1 has been withdrawn. So we have clause 2, 3, 4, and 5. Would any like any of the clauses separated? Councillor Stroud?
Number 2, please.
Number 2, Councillor Holland?
Number 3? 3, please.
Number 3. Okay, so first we will vote on the balance of the clauses. So first we will do a vote on clause 4 and clause 5. Clause 4 is the Community Investment Fund 2017 recommendations. Clause 5, purchasing bylaw amendment, new trade treaty obligations. Please vote. And that carries. Clause 2, award of contract, Central Kingston Growth and Infill Strategy. Councillor Stroud.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I am happy that we're at this stage in the game for this initiative. We all, of course, remember the debates earlier this year over the interim control bylaw and the reasons behind it, with all the pressure that some of the residential areas are facing because of the expansion of the secondary institutions and the need for housing for the students. But this is a much bigger and more systematic approach to the problem, and I'm fully in favor of it. We've already had other discussions on this, but just to sum up for people that are watching, so this study is significant, and I do have a couple questions about it, and will hopefully result in a much more comprehensive and systematic approach to housing in these residential areas, so that we can stabilize some of these areas, increase quality of life and livability, and all the things that we've committed to as a council. I'd like to say, obviously, that it's not the beginning nor the end of the process that is needed, but I'm very happy that staff is going about it this way. My first question has to do with the timeline. What can we expect in a range of months or maybe years for this study to take place, and when can we expect the final report?
Ms. Agnew?
Thank you, and through your worship. So we're estimating in approximately 18 months for this study to take place. I envision a lot of the detailed consultation with the community to take place throughout 2018, and for us to be in a position to present final recommendations and reports to council by Q2 of 2019.
Thank you. So yes, as I was saying, significant amount of work here, and if you look into the report, you'll see the various bids from the consultants and the number of hours that they're estimating they're going to allocate to the study of the problem, or study of the issue. And the one that's been chosen by staff in the ranking is the one with the most number of hours. I see that, and I think that's very important. And also the various ways that they came up with the ranking, I'm happy with that. So I'm happy to support this recommendation, and I'm looking forward to the result. Of course, 18 months is a long time, and in the meantime, there will be undoubtedly more pressure as we hear. I actually just took a phone call today about a street in my district where there's this pressure continues. So my second question has to do with that, is what is staff doing while this study is being completed to help stabilize, for lack of a better term, the areas affected while we wait for the eventual improvements that are coming?
Ms. Agnew?
Thank you, and through you. So staff have been working on the series of, I believe there are 9 different recommendations that were attached to the report that went to council related to the interim control bylaw discussion. So we've been systematically moving all of those short-term recommendations forward, and we've completed the majority of those. One of the outstanding items that will move forward during the time that the study is being completed is related to review of our site plan control bylaw. We're looking at that as a way to determine whether we need to put some additional controls in place to regulate built form in these neighborhoods during the time that the study's being done and on a go-forward basis. We're looking at that simultaneously with the rental licensing piece as well. We will be bringing a report to the next council meeting related to the rental licensing that gives an update on all of the research that we've been doing over the last 6 months, with a clear direction related to a public consultation program and timeline associated with bringing a recommendation back to council to consider that. So that will also be going on simultaneously. At the same time, the city will also be defending its official plan through the hearing for the OPA 50, which was our update to the official plan, and we had some considerable policies that were crafted during that policy project that we will be defending that are directly related to neighborhood stability and putting greater policy framework in place that helps to regulate built form. So all of those things will be moving forward at the same time. We've made some significant zoning changes related to landscape open space and amenity space already. Those are completed and those are in place. So that's sort of the summary of the overall events that will be going on over the next 12 to 18 months and how they correlate to the study.
Thank you for that. And I'm very excited that the planning department, under the director's guidance, is doing all this complex work on the multiple fronts. I think the people of these areas under pressure will definitely appreciate it when it's all caught up to speed. And I'd just like to say that. I guess this won't be the last we hear of this type of thing, but I'm happy it's going in the right direction, and I support what you're doing, and thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Schell.
Thank you, Mayor Patterson. I am equally so pleased this is moving forward. I just read the report that we have a 0.7% apartment vacancy in Kingston right now. And, part of that is we just haven't been building anything much. In the city, everything's tied up at the OMB, so we're still seeing houses one by one being turned into rental housing. And at the latest tourism meeting, finance, we discussed the idea of rental licensing, but included in that was Airbnb and a hotel tax. So it's so interesting the way things are all getting tied together as people are renting their houses as Airbnbs. They're not paying into any kind of hotel tax. And it's just exacerbating the whole issue over and over. My one question is, I presume that when this report comes through, there will be rezoning recommendations. Is that the sort of thing you're expecting?
Ms. Agnew.
Thank you, and through you. So what I do anticipate as part of this, the key deliverables, there'll be what I would say would be a substantially changed zoning framework from the one that exists within this geographic area under bylaw 8499. So I think you're going to see a number of changes there. What will also come forward with it is a set of guidelines related to design and really giving guidelines to anybody that's looking at doing a redevelopment in the area to visually guide what the renovation or which the project should look like so that it's compatible with the area. So there's a process of documentation that'll take place as an initial stage to look at really identifying what is the character of the area, what does it look like, what do the buildings look like, how has that evolved over time, what are the key things that really make this visually distinctive, and then creating a set of guidelines that staff will be using against future development proposals as well to make sure that the visual of what's being proposed fits in with the character of the area. So those are the two major pieces that I see moving forward that I think will be helpful in that respect.
That's great, thank you.
Okay, so we will call the vote on Clause 2. Please vote. And that carries. Clause 3, Initial Service Plan for Early On Child and Family Centers in Kingston and Frontenac. Councillor Holland.
Thank you, Your Worship. First, I just want to say my apologies that this wasn't able to go to ARC. There was a quorum problem, and I believe I was part of the problem. And so grateful to have the discussion here. It would have been nice to have had that discussion at ARC as well, but that unfortunately didn't happen. So my apologies to anyone who would have liked to have had that meeting take place. I see that it's time sensitive. So a few questions, I guess, first of all. So first, just to preface them, this is a really big deal, what is happening, what this transformation is and what it'll mean. So I guess the first question I have has to do with the structure and the accountability framework. I know that we'll be looking at performance review, evaluation, stuff along the road, or that framework for performance review and performance measurements will be put together. So it would be good to know, given what's happening with the transformation, working with the province, how much of the data collection for performance is an accountability measure required by the province, and how much of it is a way of us determining how best to create the service that we're looking for.
Mr. Laban.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So certainly there is an accountability aspect to our agreement with the province that we are accountable to run this system now, starting on January 18th. In terms of the measurements, though, for the system, the province has informed us that they are developing the measurement outcomes and have not announced them yet. So as such, the plan itself is very vague right now on what the measurement outcomes are that we're expected to meet. So the province has said they will be announcing those in early 2018, but unfortunately that's after we start running the system ourselves. But that's something we're being faced with.
Okay, thank you. So another issue, I guess, that came up, I'm not sure how prevalent it was in any of the consultations, but has been brought to my attention in the past. I know that there are different ways of engaging with families that are being proposed, including mobile services, pop-up services, that type of thing, but that the home visit component of Better Beginnings, for example, will no longer be in place. Is that true all across the province?
Through you, Your Worship, yes, that's true. That's not a City of Kingston policy in our plan. That's a part of the provincial mandate in the regulations that are provided to each of the 47 service managers across Ontario, that it cannot include that type of service any longer.
Okay, and so just one last question. It might be too early to say, and I know that this would have involved like a ton of work by by the Housing and Social Service people. Though at this stage, is there, like, how do we see this looking for our operations as the City of Kingston? Is there any potential relationships going forward between departments, like, for example, with Recreation, Leisure Services? How do you see this impacting your work? And are there any changes, kind of at a higher level that you think might be required?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I think that can be answered a number of ways. First, I think it's clear this is a complete shift in responsibility from the provincial government to the municipality. And so it has already had a significant impact on the Housing and Social Services Department to try to implement this new plan and the amount of work into consultations and going forward. But we do intend to work with other city departments, particularly on the facilities, to make sure the city facilities are used appropriately for the new services, such as the Rideau Heights Community Center, that we're working with Recreation and Leisure Department to ensure that can be one of the sites as well as we go forward. So, and if I may, just on your previous question, I should have mentioned that the provider that you're speaking of that's no longer able to provide a service that's eligible under this new plan, we are working with KCHC to determine if there's other childcare funding that can possibly be used to continue a similar service to the community. Even though it can't be it's not eligible for this new system, is there a way that we can keep that valuable service in the community through another funding mechanism?
Thanks very much. I'm totally encouraged because I think as difficult as I'm sure the transition is or will be, I'm very confident in the responsiveness and have enormous faith in our staff to be able to manage programs and improve service. And the whole point of this is streamlining services for early years, which is important. I think we'll see some really important improvements because of that. I think obviously I'm concerned that part of what initiated this is the fact that there were so many services that were being provided and the provincial government wasn't able to kind of keep track of everything and wanted a better way to monitor success and all of that. So I understand that that's kind of the motivation behind this, and my only concern going forward is just that that those who are most vulnerable, who rely on these services, are already under pretty heavy surveillance, and they fill out a lot of surveys, and they do their part to make all the programs better. And I just hope that the streamlining of service also means streamlining of interactions with clients, so that there isn't some kind of duplication of having to measure how good everything is that is coming about, that sort of falls to the users of the service, who will be very busy parents. So anyway, thank you very much for all the work that's gone into this, and good luck.
Thank you. We will call the vote on Clause 3. And that carries. Report number 2 from Planning Committee.
Thank you, Mayor Patterson. I rise to present report number 2 from the Planning Committee for Council's consideration. Thank you.
Moved by Councillor Schell, seconded by Deputy Mayor Neal, that report number 2 from the Planning Committee be received and adopted.
Okay, so we've separated Clause 1 for Councillor McLaren's pecuniary interest. So we will call the vote first on Clause 1 which is approval of an application for zoning bylaw amendment 276 to 284 Kingsdale Avenue. Please vote. And that carries. Okay, next we will call the vote on Clause 2 and Clause 3. Clause 2 is approval of an application for zoning bylaw amendment 102 and 104 Park Street. Clause 3, approval of an application for zoning bylaw amendment 194 Mack Street. Please vote. And that carries. Report number 3 from Heritage Kingston.
Thank you, Your Worship. I rise to hand in report number 3, Heritage Kingston, moved and seconded for Council's consideration.
Moved by Councillor Stroud, seconded by Councillor Schell, that report number 3 from Heritage Kingston be received and adopted.
So there is just the one clause, civic collection acquisitions. We'll call the vote, please. And that carries. Report number 4 from the Environment, Infrastructure, and Transportation Policies Committee.
Yes, I rise to submit report number 4 from EITP, moved and seconded for Council's consideration.
Moved by Councillor Stroud, seconded by Deputy Mayor Neal, that report number 4 from the Environment, Infrastructure, and Transportation Policies Committee be received and adopted.
Deputy Mayor Neal.
Separate one for voting purposes only.
Okay, so we will deal with Clause 1 then. So Clause 1 is bi-monthly scheduling of meetings. We'll call the vote. And that carries by a vote of 10 to 2. Clause 2, amendments to municipal green building policy, and Clause 3, water sewer line warranty program. We'll call the vote, please. And that carries. Okay, nothing from Committee of the Whole. We have one information report, Homestead Land Holdings Limited North Block Official Plan and Zoning Bylaw Amendment Applications. We have no information reports from members of council. Miscellaneous business. We do have a couple of motions. First, that the resignation of Hiller Atkin from the Cataraqui Region Conservation Authority, Lemoyne Point Advisory Committee be received with regret. Moved by Councillor Osanek, seconded by Councillor Turner. Please vote. And that carries. Number 2, we have a motion to approve a slate of councillors for the deputy mayor rotation. The only thing that I'm going to suggest here is that, so right now we have Councillor Candon, Councillor Holland, Councillor Neal, and Councillor Turner. If we could have 2 more volunteers, then that would finish up the rest of this term. Councillor Bohm, thank you. Can I have 1 more volunteer? So that we don't have to do this again later this year. Councillor Schell, thank you. Okay, Madam Deputy Clerk, I'll ask you to conduct the draw, please.
For the months of January and February, Councillor Bohm. For March and April, Councillor Neal. For May and June, Councillor Holland. For July and August, Councillor Turner.
Congratulations.
For September and October is Councillor Camden. And for the month of November is Councillor Schell. So we'll come back at the next meeting on the 19th and confirm the appointments. Thank you.
Okay, so can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Bohm, seconded by Councillor Osanik to approve. Oh, we're going to do that next meeting, is that right? Okay, never mind. We'll do that in 2 weeks. Okay, so we will then move to miscellaneous motion number 3, that the resignation of Councillor Hutchison from the Planning Committee be received with regret, and that Councillor, I'm looking for a volunteer, be appointed to the Planning Committee for a term ending November 30th, 2018. Can I have a volunteer, please? Second call, can I have a volunteer, please? Third call, can I have a volunteer, please? Yeah. That's true. You could vote against the motion, in which case Councillor Hutchison would still be on Planning Committee. Councillor Turner. So why don't we do this? We'll defer this to our next meeting, and at that point, if nobody volunteers, then I will entertain a nomination from the floor. Do I have a motion to defer? Moved by Councillor Turner, seconded by Councillor Osterhoff. To defer to the next meeting. Please vote.
And of course, the mayor is always a voting ex officio member.
Good try, Deputy Mayor. Good try. Okay. We have no motions this evening. Are there any notices of motion? Councillor Turner.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor Patterson, I have a notice of motion moved by myself, Councillor Turner, seconded by Deputy Mayor Neal. Whereas Redendale is not included in the terms of reference for the Central City Growth and Infill Strategy, whereas there is a general recognition of infill development pressure that is unique in Redendale, and whereas an organized group has been actively working towards control of infill development in Redendale for several years, and whereas the city has already engaged WSP Engineering Consulting Services to complete stormwater evaluations in Redendale in acknowledgement of stormwater neighborhood issues, which may be related to infill development. And whereas WSP Engineering Consulting Services has a familiarity with the neighborhood. And whereas residents have petitioned the city to have a planning framework to address their specific neighborhood pressures and needs. Therefore, be it resolved that staff be asked to advise council on the feasibility of developing a planning framework that is specific to address pressures in the Redendale area, to ensure that infill development is context appropriate and compatible with the physical character of the existing built form, including information from WSP Engineering Consulting Services, as part of an additional scope of work within the comprehensive zoning bylaw consolidation project currently underway, and that council directs staff to report back in January 2018 to present their findings based on sound planning principles and include an estimate of the cost of adding the scope of work for the Redendale area to comprehensive zoning bylaw consolidation project, and an approximation of time frame under the consideration, including community engagement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk, I'll ask for minutes, please.
Moved by Councillor McLaren, seconded by Councillor Hutchison, that the minutes of Special City Council Meeting Number 2017-25, held Wednesday, November 15th, 2017, and the minutes of City Council Meeting Number 2017-26, held on Tuesday, November 21st, 2017, be confirmed.
Please vote. And that carries. Some tabling of documents and number of communications. Is there any other business? Mr. Clerk, I'll ask for bylaws, please.
Councillor McLaren, you're excused for the first two bylaw votes, please. Moved by Councillor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Holland, that bylaw 6 be given its first and second reading.
Please vote. That carries.
Moved by Councillor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Holland, that bylaw 6 be given its third reading.
Please vote. That carries.
Moved by Councillor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Holland, that bylaws 7 through 11 be given their first and second reading.
Please vote. That carries.
Moved by Councillor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Holland, that Clause 11.34 of Bylaw Number 2010-1 be suspended for the purpose of giving Bylaw 9 3 readings.
Please vote. That carries.
Moved by Councillor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Holland, that bylaws 1 through 4 and 7 through 11 be given their third reading.
Please vote. That carries. Motion to adjourn, please. Moved by Councillor George, seconded by Councillor Hutchison. Please vote. And we are adjourned. Thank you very much.